In this lesson video, we are going to discuss about axis viewpoints. So what is exactly axis viewpoints? Well, axis viewpoints are special viewing presets where we can see our scene straight from a certain axis. But before we start learning how to switch our view to axis viewpoints, there is something important that we need to discuss first, and that will be orientation convention. When working in 3D, it is strongly recommended that you first understand the convention of the orientation relative to the axis. This is because different 3D software or game engines may have different orientation convention. For example, what is considered to be up direction in 3ds Max is different than the up direction in Unity game engine. In 3ds Max, the up direction is z-axis, while in Unity, the up direction is y-axis. If you are working with multiple 3D software, this can be a bit daunting. But there is at least one thing that is common and uniform across all 3D software in the world, and that is the colors of the axis. No matter what 3D software you are using, z-axis is always blue, y-axis is always green, and x-axis is always red, okay? For now, let's focus only on the orientation convention inside Blender. In Blender, the up direction is z positive axis and the down direction is z negative axis, okay? The front direction is y negative axis and the back direction is the y positive axis. Lastly, the right direction is the x positive axis and the left direction is the x negative axis. Now, you always need to remember this convention all the time when working inside Blender, especially the front direction, which is y negative axis. You should always create object facing negative y-axis when modeling. You will understand later why this is important. If you ever forget this convention, just create a monkey head object. The monkey head object, or also known as Suzanne, will face the front direction correctly by default. So this way is front. We can see this green line in here. This is the y-axis. We can see the letter Y in here is also green and aligned with this green line. The one that has letter Y is the positive direction. So this way is positive and this way is negative, okay? This red line is the x-axis. The one that has letter X is the positive direction, which is this way. And the one that doesn't have letter X means the negative direction, which is this way. And for z-axis, I think it is very obvious now. Positive z-axis is up, which is this way, and negative z-axis is down, which is this way, okay? When modeling or placing objects in our 3D scene, we often need to see objects straight from front or side or top view. We can do this using several methods: mouse method, UI method, and keyboard method. Let's see how we can do this using the UI method first. To see object from the top view, we can click on this small Z letter key. If we do this correctly, we can see the word top orthographic in here. It means we actually seeing the 3D viewport from top and the view is set to orthographic mode. Mostly, if you want to see objects from the axis viewpoint, you want it to be in orthographic. If for some reason you still want to see in perspective mode, we can press this perspective toggle button just as we discussed earlier. Now, while in axis viewpoint like this, you can zoom in and out, and you can also pan the viewport. But notice if you try to rotate the view, it will go back to custom view and perspective mode. You can see the words user perspective again like before. The user text in here means that it is in user preferred viewing angle. To see from the side view, we can either click on the X positive in here or the X negative in here. To see from the front, we can click on the Y negative in here. And to see from the back, we can click on the Y positive in here. I'm sure you get the idea now. Next is accessing axis viewpoints using only the keyboard shortcuts. To do this, we need to rely on the numpad again. First is number 1 key in the number pad. This number 1 button will change our viewport to front view orthographic. Next is number 3, which will change our viewing angle to side view orthographic. And last but not least is number 7, which will change our viewport to top view orthographic. Okay, you might be wondering by now, why in the world Blender choose those numbers for switching the view? I mean, why number 1 and 3 and 7? To answer this question, let's take a look at this graphic first. Remember when we are in high school? We learned how to draw simple technical drawing on paper. For example, let's say we want to draw a car. Usually, we need to start with the front view. Then, we take our ruler and create these guidelines so we can draw the top area precisely like this. Then, we create horizontal lines like this to guide us to draw the car from the side view. Okay? So this is the front view, this is the top view, and this is the side view. Now, if you just remember this image, just put this image in your head. You will remember the number 1, 3, and 7 shortcuts because if we map this to our numpad layout, we can see that they have similar positions. Number 7 key position is at the left top corner, just like this top view drawing. Number 1 is for the front view, located at the left bottom corner, just like this image of our car's front view. And the last one is number 3, located at the right bottom part of the numpad, exactly like the position of our car's side view drawing, okay? So again, just remember this layout in your head, and you should remember the shortcuts much easier. Now you might be wondering, can we only see 3-axis views using keyboard shortcuts? What about the back view, bottom view, and left view? Well, there are 2 methods to access them. First is by holding the control key. So for example, if we want to see the bottom view, because bottom is the opposite of top view, we can hold control and then press the number 7 key. Now we have bottom view. To see from the left view, hold control and then press number 3 key. And finally, to see the back view, hold control and then press number 1 key. Okay, so those are the first method. The second method is by using the number 9 key. This key is actually used to flip the view. So for example, if we want to see the bottom view, we can press 7 first, which essentially turn the view to top view, and then followed by 9. We are now seeing the bottom view. To see from the left view, we can press 3 and then followed by 9. To see the back view, we can press 1 and then followed by 9. Okay? And the last keyboard shortcut I want to mention here is number 5. Pressing number 5 in the numpad will toggle the viewport between perspective and orthographic mode. So basically, it is the same as clicking on this small button up here. This is orthographic and this is perspective, okay? So that is how you use the keyboard shortcuts to access axis viewpoints. The last method we are going to discuss is using the mouse to access the axis viewpoints. If we have a user view like this, and we want to see this monkey head object from right view, which is this way, first, hold the Alt key and then drag using the middle mouse button to the left like you normally do viewport rotation. As you can see, the viewport will snap to the nearest axis viewpoint and automatically switch to orthographic mode. At this stage, if we hold Alt again and then drag with the middle mouse button to the right, we get the front axis viewpoint. If we hold Alt and drag down like this, we get the top view. I'm sure you get the idea now. Something that you need to be aware though, when using the mouse method, is that you need to hold the Alt first and then drag with the middle mouse button. If you do this the other way around, I mean, if you first drag your middle mouse button and then while dragging you hold the Alt key, you will also get an axis viewpoint snapping, but without orthographic mode, or it is still in perspective mode. Mostly, this is not what we want. So just make sure you hold the Alt key first before dragging with the middle mouse button so we get the orthographic view automatically.